Chinese or Taiwanese player here in the tournament. It's the tournament structure and rules. So that is absolutely essential as we go into a fresh best of 7. This is a hell of a lineup from Jin Air Green Wings. Starting off strong with the red Terran player. Give it up if you're cheering on Maru. Bottom right hand side, our blue Protoss. Give it up for Team LP's Patience. Team LP last week just squeezing out a victory against Invictus Gaming. So they picked up an early win last week, but a team that, I mean, Invictus Gaming are a team which I feel are meant to be kind of hitting the bottom end of the league. You know, no Korean players on there, all Chinese. They have put up a good fight both times. In fact, they even won yesterday against Psystorm. So, yeah, I mean, Invictus have really turned out to be a better team than I thought they would be. But, I mean, Team LP only just winning there kind of shows they definitely have some weaknesses. It'll be interesting to see how today goes. I really feel like this could be our first series that's just over in 4 maps, because you have Maru Patience. If Maru shows up, goes 2-0, then all of a sudden you have Rogue versus Wanted. That's 2-0 as well. 4-0 series is already decided. Now all 6 maps are still played no matter what, but we haven't had that situation yet where one team has gone straight up 4-0 ahead and just already closed out the series before the final best of 2. SCV and Probe going up against each other as we see the Reaper on the way out of that main base barracks. So early game here on King's Cove going to be a pretty standard expansion from Maru. Not going to be cheeky, not going to be aggressive at all. Just going to be straight up standard and put himself into a good little spot here as the command center on the way up with that Nexus building too. Yeah, the early game going to be pretty regular and kind of macro focused here. So when you see Maru, especially in some of these online events, you definitely get into these positions where it feels like, oh, you know, he plays very aggressively, he plays very proxy heavy. He doesn't play kind of his, I mean, I guess that's just Maru all over, right? But he really already embraces that a lot. It feels he embraces it to a whole new level again when he plays like online events. And as you do see the SCV going to be pulling back up to the top left hand side. Maru, a 4-time GSL champion, and yet still struggles in every weekend tournament he attends. Losing out stats in the first round of the Super Tournament. Couple of Hellions on the way out. Starport building up in the main, and the Stargate on the way out as well. So that Stargate's about to finish up here. Couple more Hellions building as well. Tech Lab dropping down on the barracks. Stalker about to pop out on this gateway too. There's the Oracle coming in. So that Stargate up and running here already is Maru. Just going to keep this Reaper in this kind of nice position here, just checking the high ground. Looking to see if anything's coming through the center as well. So just getting some info. As it does pull back. The Oracle still being chrono boosted out at the moment actually. So still getting this up end running. Patience runs down to the bottom left corner. Those 2 extra gateways on the front door now as the Banshee starting up, cloaked underway. Barrack's going to make its way to the reactor, and the factory going to drop down onto a tech lab as well. So all of this getting set up quite nicely as we do see the Reaper and the few Hellions. These are starting to come down to the bottom side of the map. So moving down to the bottom, and there's going to be an attempt to get something done, but obviously full wall off here going to make it difficult. There's no medevac follow-up, there's no drop play here. Ooh. Well, there is going to be an entranceway with that Reaper grenade, so there you go, there's the option. Opened up by Maru, Stalker wall off. Will not do the job, but it's only going to be 4 worker kills, maybe 1 more. 5 workers, not bad in the end for the 4 Hellions when it initially looked like they wouldn't even get in. And as we do see, the 2 Oracles now will head across the map to actually be aggressive. That does mean they've already used energy to defend, and now they're going to be across the map as the first Banshee comes over. Now, unlucky for Maru, this Banshee is going to be not seen by the Oracle. The Oracle turned around. Or did the Oracle see it and it just turned around instantly? I actually don't think it did, because it's moving over to the upper right. I'm not sure. I zoomed in on the Banshee expecting them to cross straight over, but the Oracle turned at a bit of an odd time. Okay, I think Patience saw it because he intercepts the Banshee now with a Stalker. Is Maru going to play into Magfield Accelerator? So it feels like we might be seeing some more of this mech play, this time with a Banshee-based opening. Banshee escaping up the left-hand side, and you know, it's going to be seeing the Phoenix coming around. Banshee Continuing up into the natural expansion. It's going to uncloak itself, and as we still see a Phoenix on the way out from Patience here, just going up into third base. It's going to be pretty well defending against Banshees and so on, so not much opportunity for Maru to get much done so far. Good sort of just scouting and positioning on the map by Patience at the moment. And you see a couple of Banshees there, a couple of Cyclones, 10 Marines. And it's moving over to the right-hand side. Both these, all these Phoenix and Oracles gathering up together. Blink getting started as well. The box facility. Dropping down to you and just waiting to see those extra factories perhaps from Maru really just confirm this mech play alongside this Magfield Accelerator. Trying to get another Banshee, still building these up. I'll tell you what, maybe this is not even just mech. This is why I was wondering about. Maybe this isn't mech and it's a bio follow-up, but it's a very committed attack because it's a lot of Marines. Cyclones are very powerful right now. The Banshees deal a lot of damage, and he wasn't very eager to kind of continue harassing with the Banshees. He is mostly very eager to pull back into setup once again, as we're going to be seeing. First Banshee taking some damage with Cyclone lock-ons. Trading Oracle for Banshee. It's not so bad actually. And some more Cyclones showing up here. Obviously damage output is important. These Marines not quite in position. Phoenix lifting up the Cyclones, also shooting down one of the Banshees at the same time. Marines though, getting quite a lot done. I tell you what, whenever Banshee falls, there's still 2 Cyclones and Marines left over. Let's see if he's coming in to repair that Cyclone here as Maru finds himself on top of this third base. There are factories as a follow-up, so it is going to be mech. Magfield Accelerator will be able to chunk down one of those Stalkers. Marines though, target fire in that Phoenix, get rid of that, and all of a sudden that Cyclone dropped back down to the ground. SCV is still repairing. There's a couple of Stalkers going to get chased away to the point of lock-on, but he will lose one of the Cyclones. It's just a little bit too close for a moment too long. Another couple of Stalkers here as well. Going to be able to turn that Cyclone away. Another Banshee showing up. There's not really the units here to continue fighting this, I feel, in terms of, hey, I'm going to continue pushing through and breaking this third base, although there comes a Siege Tank. The Immortal is already on top of it, and the Siege Tank drops pretty quickly. Maru's attack is cleaned up, as this Banshee, though, is going to get the Immortal. Oh my god, there's no detection because the death of the Oracle earlier means no revelation, although an Observer now out. Banshee in the main base obviously won't do anything. Maru just leaves the shield battery. Will just fly that Banshee into the corner, try and keep it alive, and I wonder if this was actually seen by Patience. He is going to send the Phoenix down there to check, so it seems like it was. Nice to keep track of that rather than just assuming it had gotten out somewhere. So Phoenix able to pick off that Banshee, as we are going to be seeing the Hyperflight Rotors finishing up. So continuing to build Banshees here, going to continue using these. Behind all of this, Maru has set up into 3 bases, a 4th command center building, and obviously it's kept Patience pinned back at home. It's taken down early game tech units, and that means that Patience isn't in a great spot to stop Maru from getting up into his mech composition here. Temple Archive is about halfway done. A few more Zealots warping in as well. Just seeing Patience with a few more Stalkers up through the center of the map. Single Banshee on the left has not been seen by anything just yet. The Warp Prism backing the way down to the bottom. Banshee is coming through and does get a couple more probes. And the Stalker's still heading up in towards the third base, perhaps. Trying to get something more done here. Tank sieged up Cyclones and Hellions. Down that ramp. Ooh, nice move forwards. Find themselves a Cyclone, but lost them quite a few Stalkers, although there's another Cyclone dropping down. Banshee in the middle of the map. Cloaks up to keep itself alive. And another group of Stalkers going to be warping in here. There's a lot of Stalkers sat out in the center of the map. 2 more armories about to finish up on the natural expansion, and still just seeing this army gathering up together. Infernal Pre-Igniter on the way up as well. And Robo Bay is on the way. And towards them. I don't know what's best to go in. Is Colossus really a necessity here against mech? The Colossus, their role is usually to kind of clean up those, light units in the front of an army, so they can clean up Hellions and so on, but I'm not sure if that's really what they're hoping for here, these tanks. Yeah, Blink's onto you. I mean, the army was just out to the left-hand side, so there's 2 siege tanks going down. Nice find by Patience as this Raven helps to pick off an Observer without the scan. Warp Prism looking for an opening on the left, and this is an empty natural expansion, although a Cyclone, just one, is being sent into position. Warp Prism could come straight up the side and into the main base, though. Again, a couple of missile turrets would not go amiss, but Maru seems to be very confident that he can hold on anyways. Hellions and Cyclones pressing forwards. Cyclone's locking on. The Stalker's already chased away to the side. Cyclone's going to be able to get rid of this Zealot. So Zealot will fall. Walkers went down too. That lock on from the Cyclones is pretty deadly. I don't know why there was a sentry in here. Stalkers taking a chance to move forwards. And they find themselves a few Widow Mines. Already scanning, just checking to see what's there. Maybe looking for the Observer, which was expecting to be picking away at those, or giving vision of those Widow Mines. Observer is there. Can be locked onto. Will be killed as the Cyclones finish their lock-ons and a bunch of Stalkers go down. Tell you what, Patience has lost a lot of units recently, and right now, it looks like Patience is in some real trouble. He's going to lose this War Prism. His army's going to try and move down this ramp, and Raven here drops down an auto turret. The Zealots are actually going to hold this off, but I really felt there was more potential here for Maru, and I think there still may be. Extra Hellions show up, a little bit more to attack with. There's no Zealots here anymore. Now he's just continuing to warp in Stalkers, but I feel like these Stalkers are getting not much done because the Cyclones pick their way through them so quickly and so easily. Maru is up 80 to 30 army supply. As he moves down in towards this fourth base, just gets a pile on there. It's going to be safe to pick off this fifth base to begin with because it's a bit more out in the open, a bit more towards the center of the map. Well, Maru's Cyclones are very bruised and battered, aren't they? He's thinking about heading back home to repair it all. And rally some extra Widow Mines across. These are going to be able to start burrowing, and it's very difficult for these Stalkers to just do this. Blinking on top, Widow Mines go huge, and there's a huge amount of Stalkers killed in that volley of shots. Another Widow Mine showing up again. This time the Stalkers blink through the Widow Mine fire. Single Immortal in the back is going to continue picking up the Widow Mines as Maru backs away. All of these Widow Mines will go down as the Observer comes into range. And just heading back home. Now he will sit back and regroup just a little bit. With an Nexus dropping down, so rebuilding that fifth as Maru gets his own fifth base up and running as well. More Liberators on the way out. So continue to build these up here. +2 vehicle plane and +2 vehicle weapons. Still coming in on these armories. More tech labs finishing on those factories as well. And again, just an Oracle hanging out into the center of the map. You see he's repairing up those Cyclones. And here we go. Pushing through the center once again. So down through the middle. Hellions, Cyclones, and Widow Mines. We'll see what will happen here as involving the hell. That Stalker's from the left-hand side. Locked onto instantly. There's a lot of Stalkers going down. There's a ton of Stalkers going down, actually. Damage down. Widow Mines going to burrow. Zealots are going to get blown up. Oh my gosh. Zealots got absolutely destroyed there. And that's kind of huge though, right? Because you get rid of these Zealots and suddenly the Widow Mines can start targeting Archons and Immortals and getting rid of shields and all sorts, making this entire army so much more vulnerable. Cyclones are locked on again. It's just they're so vulnerable as well, so fragile. If they get connected onto by Immortals, they just disappear. As shown by that Cyclone in the front right there, the Immortal shot's just deleting it. The thing is, these Stalkers keep blinking through and they keep just getting shut down as well as the Cyclones turn around once again. Immortals still being chased away, never scanned just to keep the vision. He's going to stay locked onto. Now there's only going to be one Immortal left, and I think there's enough for Maru to finally just overwhelm Patience at the 14-minute marker, but a very, very high action, action-packed game number 1 in this best of 7. Maru picking up the first to the bottom right-hand side. Our blue Protoss player. This is Patience. Up against the red Terran player to the top left-hand side, Maru. From Jin Air Green Wings. Just a reminder, guys, we will be sending out replays from the China Team Championships. So if you want to get your hands on Maru Mech replays versus Protoss, or any of the replays from today's stream, they will go out to subscribers on the Discord server or patrons on the Patreon page, patreon.com/WardiTV. So, want to get your hands on replays, Patreon or subscribing. I'll get you there. Going to game number 2, just waiting to see what's going to happen. I mean, in terms of the maps, obviously everything apart from your 0 is going to be smaller than King's Cove, so We'll take a bit of a downgrade in map size as we go into Cyber Forest here for map number 2. Probe and an SCV going up against each other, having a little bit of a back and forth battle. Probe going to be hanging out on that natural, and the SCV heading down to the bottom right hand side here. A couple more SCVs showing up from Maru, going to be coming in, trying to see what else is going on. As you see that Nexus dropping down on the natural expansion. What's up, Wush? Thank you so much for the 25-month resub. Huge resub, over 2 years. Let's go. Thank you so much. Get some love in the chat for Wush, please, guys. Slide the next call coming through, and going to be seeing Patience and himself established in this early stage. You see Cyber Call coming in as well. Support with the Twitch Prime for 32 months. My poster looks nice, thank you. No worries, dude. Glad you got it. Hope you framed it, put it up on the wall. Prized possession. Took you so long to get. Deserves it. Dear Daniel says, first time I've ever paid for a sub, but I enjoy your channel. Well, thank you so much, dude. Really means a lot. Like I said, me being a bit ill this month, plus the fact I was, I had to take a personal week off last week because of family issues. We're not having the best of months on the stream. In fact, we're on track for our worst month on the stream in over 2 years, which is kind of depressing because I thought we were going to bounce back in April because March was also not very good. So yeah, having a bit of a shitty time, really. Not a shitty time. I haven't been casting and stuff, obviously, but no, it's been a bit of a... It's not been going as well as I would have liked, so every sub's counting right now. Do appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words as well. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks to the supporters. We do see the two Marines at the top here. Already pushing back that Adept without too much issue. Keeping that high ground vision now. I mean, obviously the Adept gives that high ground back, and that's why the Marines back away here. Wouldn't mind will change things, because now the Stalker can't just, well, I guess Stalker's already committed up here, so it can get in. And Wouldn't mind's not going to help much if it's positioned on the ramp and the unit's on the high ground already, so it does make this a little bit interesting. There's a couple of Marines going to jump back onto that Stalker. And that Stalker will end up falling. Stalker goes down. Siege tank building up on the factory. Medevac on the way out as well. Robotics facility on the way up in the main base. A couple more gateways dropping down too. Still just seeing another Marine coming down towards the natural expansion here. Liberator, Siege tank continuing to build. Blink on the way up as well, about halfway done. Obviously, just a very different build from Maru, right? I mean, Wouldn't mind early, going into a Liberator, just a very slight amount of harassment. Not even a medevac to go drop those Wouldn't minds across the map or anything. Just setting up on the natural and just going to see the pylon. There's Patience maybe even thinking about taking a third base for that. Blinkstalk's coming up, he will have map control very shortly. Single Liberator coming down at the left-hand side, and what's going to happen here? Again, Liberator down the bottom, and medevac, Siege tank on the way up. Bit of a push from Maru down through the center, so this is why we're really going to check how well Patience can do here. 2 tanks, multiple Marines. Blink will be done for this. Stalker's trying to take a bit of position already. Is going to get taken down, but it does soak some shots from those Stalkers, which is actually pretty nice. Gets those tanks into position. There's no third base yet. Bunkers will come up on the low ground. Gives you kind of a bit of a timing here as Patience in terms of breaking out of this. Still broken down now. Now he's going to try and build them up again as the Liberator gets prepared. Tank still pressing forwards. Already a gateway on the side. He's in a little bit of trouble. See that pylon going to get picked up, and just going to be seen again. Bunker hanging out on the bottom. And a couple of tanks sieging up. Oh, that's a nice force field, but the medevac should be able to save those Marines if needed. Those tanks are just destroying everything at the moment. This is getting a little bit crazy here. Shield battery will finish up, but that shield battery itself is going to get blown up before it does too much healing. Now Bunker's coming in on the high ground. Viking lands as well. I mean, Liberator will push further forwards too. Oh, the Stalkers though coming around the side. Well, I mean, they actually do pretty well. They clean up 2 of the tanks. But I mean, there's still that problem of there's just units up on the high ground, continuing to push in towards the natural. Stalker's going to be picking their way through that siege tank. It is going to go down as the Immortal dives for it. Another reinforcing tank here is going to make it through, and Patience is going to type out GG. It takes Maru 6.5 minutes to break down this one. So Maru's going to be able to take this go. Alright, so back to barcoded Zergs. God damn it. When will these guys get real accounts? I don't know. Okay, to the top left-hand side, our blue Zerg player. This is going to be Wanted, representing Team LP. As we do have to the bottom right-hand side, our red Zerg player. We've got Jin Air, Green Rings, Rogue. If Rogue can win the next 2 maps, this is already closed out for Jin Air, but again, all 6 maps will be played, no matter what. Which is nice. As you just see the Overlord What are you starting to head across to the upper left-hand side of the map. There's a couple drones on the way up here from Wanted as well. There's going to be a couple drones ahead of Rogue as the hatchery does get taken just a moment sooner. So a few drones coming up on either side here. Rogue, Wanted. Both of these guys just building up for the moment as get this ready to roll. Spawn pool will be built at the same time from both, so in the end everything kind of tying up together here. Intrigued to see what sort of style Rogue wants to come in and play, because I wouldn't have been too surprised if he just decided to come in and be like, you know what, let's go 13-12 twice in a row, because honestly Korean Zergs have that tendency to be like, oh, you know what, you know, I feel like I'm better than you, I feel like I have better controls, I'm just going to all-in you in ZVZ and win the game, you know, in the next few moments, no problem at all. As you see the drones just mining away on the main base and just going to be having the Overlord heading down to the bottom right hand side. So a couple of Overlords heading down to the bottom right and looking to see what's going to be happening. In the early game, nothing much to talk about really. Waiting for some build order choices to be made on Port Alexander before you can really dive into the action. There it is, a fast lair. So this is already obviously from Wanted looking to be very aggressive with a very fast lair. I mean, this is a lair faster than your typical, oh, you know, I want to just open with roach speed and skip link speed, etc. This is truly very likely to be something along the lines of a Nidus network or, yeah, something along those lines. Try and get some aggression going very early on here. As we get this set up, we're just about halfway done. Just give me a quick moment, guys, sorry. Alright, sorry guys. Just have to answer the phone for a moment as we do see the Nidus is on the way up as mentioned. Sorry. As we get this Nidus network on the way. Zergling's on the way out. Overlord building up as well. Queen and a +1 carapace coming through. So let's see what Rogue can do to defend this here as he's got a lot of Zerglings. No roaches at the moment, which is going to make this a little bit tough. He's really going to have to look for that surround, especially try and stop those roaches getting back towards the Nidus. Tell you what, Wanted is moving pretty far forwards at the moment as these Zerglings continuing through. We'll see another Nidus coming up right at the front. I like that because it actually walls off this front, which makes it more difficult for the Zerglings to get involved. Wanted is actually looking pretty good at the moment as Rogue needs 20. He's got 20 more lings on the way, but kind of feels like he needs something more here. I mean, the other Knight is finishing up, so reinforcements are going to be pretty much instant. Drones pulling away, and this is going to be for Blue Zerg playing some trouble. Ling's coming through and just going to see that Nidus Worm taking some damage as well. I don't think that's really the answer here because there's 2 Niduses. What are you going to do? I mean, you kill the Niduses, so what? Another one builds up in the main. Rogue is kind of buying time to what? Build more Zerglings at this point. Queen's coming in as well. Just going to be seeing the couple of roaches continue to take damage and just going to see the drones continue to pull across. I mean, this is the problem, right? I mean, Never Nidus finishes up and Rogue just can't get us around. And Wanted is going to win this game with the Nidus network. So we're going to be able to pick this up and going to be seeing 5 drones dropping down. 20 workers dead though out of... Why did he want to bring his workers across the map? Why on earth did he bring his workers in the Nidus? What on earth? Okay, I don't know what that is, but that is going to be GG, and Jin Air will drop a map here as Wanted picks one up. That's makes it just, I mean, even tougher, right? So here we are. Blue Zerg in the bottom left, Wanted, able to pick up a map. Well, Red Zerg in the top right from Jin Air Green Rings Rogue. Dropping one here, and that's actually quite costly. That's real costly. I mean, again, that could force us into an ace match here already. If the rest of the matches go kind of as expected, that one upset could cause an ace match. So, see what's going to happen is we do have the few drones on the way up early here this time around. Hopefully, no phones to distract us or disrupt us this time around either. Is coming out into the center of the map now, and just going to be seeing the actually dropping down on the natural expansion. Again, a few more drones just mining away. And this Overlord from Rogue continues along as well. Spawn Pool starting up. Ready to place down his extractor. Everything pretty regular, just waiting to see how this is going to go. The world of ZVZ is a pretty crazy one, right? It's a pretty crazy one. Seeing the hatch gas and pool coming up then, and again, just waiting to see. Again, waiting for that moment, like where something like a lair builds, right? So we can talk about something a bit different happening. Whether it's, I mean, a lair or just, maybe seeing a Bane nest, we can talk about maybe being Ling Bane. Obviously, last game Rogue opted for pretty fast Carapace upgrades, so that was kind of intriguing too, but doesn't work very well when you get Nidus all in, because the the Carapace wasn't done by the time the Nidus showed up, so it didn't really have any effect, right? Link speed starting up here out of Rogue. So getting that up and running as this Overlord coming forwards too. You'll see a couple more Queens on the way out on both sides, and again just waiting for this first few minutes to pass on by. Tell you what though, I mean, I said obviously if things go as expected, but Impact did drop a map last week to Invictus Gaming. Dropped a map to Iasonu in ZVZ, so maybe there is some opportunity as well to see Rex taking some maps off Impact, which could also be a bit of an upset. Do you see the Bane nest dropping down from Rogue? Now he is making more Lings, and looks like he wants to somewhat just defend his third base, which has a couple of Lings set on this. Chamber dropping down in the front of the natural. A couple of Lings coming over, and a little bit of a fight here, a little bit of a battle, as we do see the Bane nest coming up. Ling speed coming through, and again, just going to be seeing that lair on the way up on the main, so getting this ready to roll as we do have. Yeah. A few Zerglings here running through the center. Rotron from Wanted setting up in the front, and just going to be seeing the Bane nest finishing as well. In the end, we'll continue to drone up quite heavily, so the Bane nest not going to do much, just sets him up fairly safely. As we do see the Rotron about to finish here. How about Blue Zerg, who just lets those Zerglings in? Well, for Rogue, this is a pretty nice scout coming into the main base. Around the main, and again, those Zerglings just... I'm going to be able to morph in a couple of Banes. We'll see if Rogue can get something done with that, although one Zerglin already coming towards this Big thing for Rogue is he sees no Zergling speed, so he knows for sure that this is just a pretty fast tech up into Roaches. And so he knows to kind of just tech up into Roaches pretty fast himself, although Wanted needs to start +1 missiles, needs to start his Roach speed because he does have that money already. Going down to the low ground. The Banes did end up coming through here, so they are able to connect and get 3 workers. Nothing too crazy in the end, as we are going to be seeing the extra drones from Rogue just coming down to the 3rd base here. Yeah, that Roach drone is dropping down as well. Over in the natural. Oh my god, 11 more drones went down as a few more Zerglings just get in and they're able to connect. Well, now Wanted is actually just taking a lot of damage in these early stages. Rogue will go for 12 drone kills now. This one remaining Zergling wants that super low health drone, but ends up running into the Queens. And all said and done, I mean, Rogue isn't even that far behind on +1 on Roach speed, so Rogue in a very good position with a strong worker count. Just looking very good in general at the moment. Zerglings coming out across over to this left-hand side and trying to see what's going on. This network will drop down from Wanted. He just says, you know what, let's just try and end this, but this time he's going to be running into Roaches of Rogue. So this time Rogue should have a bit of a better defense available to be set up for himself. Be able to deal with this a bit more easily. We'll see him morphing in. Nidus network finishes, and well, where is Wanted going to drop it? Changeling in the main, but Rogue already has a Queen on the way over. He'll see that Nidus pretty quick, so he already knows about it. Sends his Roaches up, might even be able to kill the Nidus. Maybe not. This Roach is going to take an extra couple moments to get there. Well, it's going to be close actually, because these Roaches are going to show up, and he might be able to just kill the Nidus with a few Roaches out. This is very good for Rogue, because now he's just going to outnumber his opponent's units. He's just going to be able to kill these off. I mean, Queen transfusions are pretty good. They buy some time, but I mean, the other Nidus on the bottom side is already found as well. Rogue units that pop out of here. It's a similar story. Wanted is just going to be outnumbered, so he's losing a lot of fights. This is very expensive as the Nidus to the top side gets killed again. Another one trying to come down on the bottom. And that's just going to be a quick GG. Wanted knows it's over. Rogue is going to take this game. Bottom left-hand side, our blue Zerg player from Team LP. This is Impact. As we have to the top right, our red Zerg Rex is set up and ready to go. Couple of links coming up to the top side as we do see an early game aggression out of Rex. 13-12 to get very aggressive very early. Bane Nest as well, so very committed attack here. As we get this set up to go. A few links coming around the top side. Four links, a couple of queens on the way up. I mean, the thing is, Impact is going to find out about this in the next couple of moments. This Overlord moving forwards. He's already building a spine, so he obviously has somewhat of an inclination about what's going on. So it's a pretty fast spine, honestly. I mean, it means that it's going to be kind of difficult for Rex to do much here. It's actually pretty interesting how fast that spine was. Impact not messing around. I wonder if he glimpsed or just caught a glimpse of those lings. Could be big as we see Queen popping out. Going to be some good DPS onto those Zerglings as they will initially win that fight. Goes to the Spine Crawler now. A lot of this is about decision making from Rex, choosing to connect, to target the right things at the right time. I don't like where those Banes are morphing because it feels very difficult to keep those alive as the Queens will come in onto them. A couple of Banelings already here are ready to go, but I mean, they're just about now going to find some Zerglings. Extra Lings running in from Rex, though, and Impact going to lose one of his Queens. The thing is, Impact is up by 4 workers and a hatchery, so there's some serious damage that needs to be done here to even up this game. But I tell you what, Banes into the main could definitely be the way to make this happen, as Banes are going to just not make it through. One connection on those drones could be huge, of course, because then you can just target them down. Why are they not connected? Finally, they do. 4 or 5 workers killed. Rex is in the main base and is getting damage done, but is still down a hatchery. Now, with Zerglings and the Queen set up from Impact, it looks like Rex will not be able to do much more. So we see another Baneling morphing in, 5 drones dropping down. Zerglings continue to come down to the bottom left-hand side. Forwards, a couple of queens coming through. One Zergling gets picked off, and it's going to be GG. Impact holds of this series. Rex just needs a map to close it out for Jin Air. Impact needs one more to force us into an ace match, as we have to the bottom right-hand side. Our blue Zerg player from Team LP, it's Impact. Top left-hand side, our red Zerg opening up with the 12 pool is Rex. No gas this time, though, so a little bit of a different opening. You see the spawning pool coming through, a couple of drones coming along. Tell you what, one drone already moving across the map, intriguing. I wonder if he's going to try and get a spine crawler up or so. It kind of feels like he's going to do something a bit funky, right? Avoiding the overlords. Not going to be a drone pull, because otherwise you would just send the drones across the map at the same time as the lings, but yeah, maybe a spine crawl on the edge could get something a little bit cheeky here. Impact not going to have any vision of that. His spawning pool only just now about to start as well, by the way, so he's going to have to really macro his heart out to deal with these initial Zerglings. And again, here comes this drone that's going to try and build a spine crawl on the edge of the base. And there's going to be nothing to spot this for a little while. Oh, it is going to be a drone pull. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, it's going to be a proxy hatchery? Why is there a proxy? Oh, to build a spine off of creep. Oh. Okay. I mean, that's a very expensive 75 minerals just to build a spine crawler, though. Like a really expensive 75 minerals. Rex only leaves 2 drones behind. He's not going to be able to afford another spine. I guess the benefit is you have this spine so soon. Oh my god, an Impact scouts for spine as well, and he doesn't see it because of the hatch cancel. This is actually pretty sick in the end, all said and done. Here come the lings, here come the drones. Impact hasn't seen anything at all. Spine Crawler is going to be able to move forwards, but it will be half health. That's the problem with kind of building it off of creep. It's been losing health because it isn't on creep, so here he goes. Spine moving forwards, and Impact's going to be like, what on earth? How is there a Spine Crawler in my base? Spine going to start burrowing here, being blocked by his own Zerglings. But yeah, the Spine's going to burrow up, and this main base is in trouble. Do you go for the main hatch, or do you not just go for the spawning pool, though? What's even the better option? I don't know. Spine's going to try and build up here on the low ground from Impact. The thing is, Impact's buying a lot of time, and now this Spine Crawler can't really do much. If this fight happens towards the ramp, the Spine can burrow up on the high ground and fight from over here. Any mining that Impact gets out of this right now is good for him, as we are going to be seeing the fight happening. I don't like this for Impact. It felt like he was in a very open area. This Spine Crawler fighting off the Queen on the high ground. Queen on the low ground too, though. And I think Rex is running out of time. Good response by Impact just to go to the low ground and just to mine from there. I really feel like Rex should have just gone for the spawning pool. There's 200 minerals you can force to kind of be rebuilt. And that really stops Impact from setting up too much more defense. This Spine here has to turn around and fight that Spine on the low ground, but Rex isn't going for it. He's just going for the spawning pool. No, I mean, that's kind of vital shots not going to land. Finally, he's going to start poking, but his Spine is just so much lower on health, so Impact's going to hold this off. And a very aggressive ZVZ is going to go the way of Impact. And this is going to take us to an ace match here. Jin Air being brought to Game 7. And that's all Impact has to do is clean up these units with shields here. I mean, he's got a Spine Crawler here as well. Man, I like the idea from Rex. It was cool, it was funky. It just didn't quite work. Probably need to see one map to determine it. To the top right-hand side. Picked up the 2-0 already today for his team. This is Maru from Jin Air Green Wings. Bottom left-hand side also picking up 2 wins already today. Our red Zerg player is Impact. What does he do to try and take down Maru in a game number 7? As Jin are desperate to get a win here, because starting the League 02, it's not the end of your run. You can still make playoffs, obviously, but puts a lot more pressure on, takes away a lot of room for errors, and especially when you've set up a lineup like Maru and Rogue, it definitely shows that you're very vulnerable here as we get this up and running. It's interesting to me because I really feel like this is a matchup where, or a series where it kind of shows again. A lot of people before this league started said, well, who's going to beat Jin Air? Jin Air are just this team which seem to be so difficult to beat, so impossible to beat almost. I really don't think they are. With the way the format works, it only takes a map here or a map there to lose out. It's definitely possible. It's definitely possible as we get this ready to go. Extractor dropping down from impact in the main base. The hatchery here on the natural getting built up as well. We're just going to see that Reaper on the way out of this barracks, so getting this up and running as well. As we have a bit of a lag spike here. Who's dropping out of game 7? Nobody, just a bit of a hold up in the game. Spawning pool, hatchery, gas, all coming up in the next few moments as we do see those couple of overlords coming around to the top. And we do see SCV from Maru just coming to see what's going on as well. Going to be seeing the SCV again, poking out the front, having a little bit of a look to see what's going on. SCV and a drone going to have a little bit of a fight against each other. And we do see the drone is just going to survive there. The Reaper not there in time to get that final shot. It does delay the third base from being taken as the first few Zerglings moving across the map. Factory is about halfway done as the command center dropping down on the natural expansion here. Impact just setting up with these couple of overlords trying to see what's going on. Reaper does come in. That extractor cancels and actually the drone is killed. So nice pickup here by Maru, who comes in trying to hunt down now another drone. Just force this one to build an extractor too, and this is already just nice damage with the Reaper. Lings across the map will get an SCV, but the command center is finished. Will not be delayed. This is the depots for the last moment. And Hellions will be on the way out in the next couple of moments as well. So a couple of Hellions coming through. Tech Lab building on the barracks, and SCVs are going to pull across to start repairing up this reactor. So factory on the reactor getting repaired, and just going to be seeing the hatchery building up on the third base as well. Ling speed about to finish in the back of the main as we do see Maru's SCV coming across over to the right hand side. A couple of Hellions coming out as well, and again those Zerglings moving down to the bottom, looking to see what else is going on. Third hatchery going to finish up in a moment or so, and just going to be seeing those Lings backing away. Reaper Hellions hanging out, and just going to see the Rotron setting up into the natural expansion here. You can see the 5 drones on the way up, cloaking on the way out, Viking building as well. This rolling. There's 2 Hellions and the Reapers coming across here. Going to be coming through, and just going to see that drone taking some damage. Going to be seeing the couple units tagging away at it. Another crew tumor pressing forwards from impact, starting to connect up towards the third base. He's got a lot of gas. He's going to make a lot of roaches. He's going to get pretty aggressive pretty quick, but I tell you what, a Banshee against a roach attack is always a good thing to have. Viking takes down the Overlord as well before anything can be found out in terms of what Maru's committing in towards. See one Ling up the ramp. We'll see the Cloak Banshees on the way, so that's good info for impact, but what can he do about it? Well, he starts up a lair, which I think is a bit of a response to just seeing the fact that there is a Cloak Banshee coming. I wonder what he goes for then in the end. I mean, just a couple more drones in the end. Not going to make much out of these roaches. They are just for defense. I thought it might be a bit more serious, a bit more of a commitment. Use them now might be able to kind of cause the Banshees to kind of waste some time fighting roaches rather than going straight towards mineral lines, for example. Or rather just going to start building up in the center of the map here. Hellions still coming back and forth. Banshee will show up, and again, those roaches already taking quite a lot of damage as well. Good grenade. Going to bop those roaches up into the sky, and again, doing a pretty good job of this here as Hellions continue to kite away. Job very well done as those roaches will die off. Well, now Queen from impact going to throw down an inject onto the hatchery. Just going to see that lair here from impact is about to finish up. So finishing up the lair as we do see Zerglings up the right hand side. Hellions and a tank gathering up together. Now third base is on the way up, but this is not a raised depot. So Maru making a bit of a mistake. SCVs will start to fall. Hellions are close enough to pull back quickly, but it's already 4 or 5 workers. A pretty significant amount of damage here early on. 5 workers going down. Maru with a bit of a mistake. Still yet to find an opening with these Banshees. Hasn't done anything with them at all, actually. Another armory coming through, so Hellions can morph into Hellbats. Tell you what, this is pushing into one hell of a push, actually, from Maru. He might just be looking to play mech as a follow-up in general, but right now, this is scary. 2 tanks, 2 Banshees. Hellbats to tank a little bit of damage. If he can siege up onto this base, this is going to be really dangerous. Here we go. Banshees will cloak up. They'll take a couple of shots, but those tanks are going to do a very good job of zoning here. It will be interesting to see if those Ravagers can hit the biles on the tanks effectively. Already a couple of Roaches taking some shots. Hurts a lot when those tanks fire onto those Roaches, of course. The Ravagers trying to get in range. There's the first corrosive biles. First siege tank will go down. I think the Queens are enough here to really push back this couple of Banshees, so it should be good as the get off creep though. The Roaches and Ravagers can't chase because the Banshees will cover. And the unit's obviously not very fast on off of creeps. The Queens will not be able to chase those Banshees, so Impact is pinned back. And I tell you what, he doesn't have a lot of creep spread. His Hyperflight Rotor stops up here from Maru as well. We've seen that third orbital here from Maru going to come up to the top side. Going to be able to land SCVs. Going to mine away as well. You see Shanks going to get sieged up, and we'll be throwing down a forward engineering bay. I guess walls this area off a little bit. It's a structure which isn't super important either, right? You know, it's there for a couple missile turrets, etc. But if you lose it, it's far from the end of the world. You see the Spire coming up, the Hydralist end dropping down at the front as well. A couple of Banshees coming through. Some Queens able to jump onto those, and again, Banshees escaping away through the top side. Fourth base going to be finishing up in a few moments. Extra Extractors going to be dropping down as well towards the fourth, and just going to be seeing those Banshees again heading back over to the far right. So gathering themselves together. Mutalisks on the way up, getting this going. Have a few moments, aren't we, where not much will happen, but Mutalisks should be able to help deal with those Banshees in the long run. I wonder if that's why we only see 6 Mutalisks as well. They're not really made to go diving into mineral lines as much as they're just made to stop those Banshees flying around all over the place, which we know they can do so well with that Hyperflight Rotor upgrade. They're so fast. Mutalisks out along through the bottom side here. All the way over to the right. There's a bunch of Hydras on the way up as well. So building these up right now as we do see tanks sieged up as well. Missile turrets and fours. Going to be a good defense initially, and that's again why I think those Reators aren't really made to go harassing, but more so to go and, again, stop those Banshees from being too much of a presence. In fact, builds up straight away into a 5th base in the forward position here. Now, what result this could be for Team LP if Impact was to take down Maru. What a turnaround this could be in the terms of how things go and how the league shapes up in general, actually. Be a huge win for Team LP. Patience, Impact, and Wanted. A late addition to the China Team League as well, by the way. We're not meant to be part of the competition. As a replace. It was meant to be an 8th team. They weren't able to play, so it's going to be 7 teams. And then Team LP stepped in as an 8th team just a week or two before it started, picking up Patience and Impact. Good to see them doing so well. And as the fours lifted up, coming forwards, going to be boosting in towards these Mutalisks, and already those Mutalisks taking some damage. 1 meter falls already. 2 command centers continue to build up here. So Maru just really building themselves up into that very strong economy. Many orbitals, abilities to float CCs all over the place, replace them easily. Love these Banshees, by the way. Not sure why the Mutas aren't making more of an attempt to kind of cut off the Banshees. Instead, they're in the main picking away at the refinery. A lot of Roach Hydra coming across the map, but I just gotta say, I don't really see a way to push up here with Impact. And again, maybe all he needs to do is really just sit here and sort of defend as now those Mutas have been taken down by 4s. There's only 2 left, and make that 1, maybe make that 0 as the shots go off. All the Mutas die. So these Mutas really didn't do anything. I really thought they'd be kept more safe just to kind of help with the Banshees, but not the case at all. As we're going to be seeing units coming up the top side. All the command going to lift up. SCV's pulling away. Banshees start to press on forwards. Tank for siege. Roach and Hydras pushing back. And we are going to be seeing Islam continue to fight. The siege tank fight is pretty good, though. I mean, I like the fact Maru just got rid of this 3rd base right away. Just pulls it out of position. Makes the space for him to push his units through, and this unit doesn't lose it as well. While he loses 15 SCVs, he's already landed a 4th base in location. In fact, still only on Roach Hydra. It does have an infestation pit, and because of that is just now able to start up the hive, which means a movement in towards Vipers straight away would be a huge addition. But Maru has some time, scans the hive building, so knows he's got a while before Vipers, and may be able to use this in his favor. Just get aggressive before that happens. Vikings picking up this overlord. Tell you what, he also has Vikings out, so he already has a way to fight against Vipers as well. Kind of feel like Maru might be able to just go across the map. He maintained a lot of his army here. He unsieges. He does start to move out. I mean, I think it's a decent time to move out, right? Like, again, like I've just said, he won a fair, kept a lot of his army alive in that fight. And that's a huge thing for Mechas now, pushing across over the left-hand side. Roaches, Hydras, and Ravagers having a bit of a dance in the center. Bats, tanks, and fours continue to come over to the left-hand side. We're just going to be seeing the Roaches and Hydras of impact. Running towards the center, the top side, Banshees picking away at Ravager as well. Tanks are going to siege up. Here we go. Units are going to start running in from the top. Those tanks are going to get a huge amount of damage done, though. Roaches and Hydras just melt, and Maru's army is way too much at the moment. That hive is still not done. And as Maru pushes into the 5th base, there'll be nothing stopping him pushing up into that high ground base as well. The Hydra Den is in range of that base too, so that will likely go down here. And it looks as though Jin Air Green Wings will get a win on the board. Will go 1-1 in the league. TMLP will be brought back to 1-1 as well, which means we'll only have a single team up at a 2-0 match score at the end of week 2. Of course, don't forget, week 3 action starts up this Saturday. It's already week 3 starting this Saturday in just 4 days' time. There we go, the attempt from Impact to try and hold on here. The tanks were in siege as they reposition, but Maru is able to siege them up in time. Takes the 5th base behind this of his own, even taking it an orbital. Has absolutely no fear about this base being attacked right now. Pulls back a little bit, but I mean, realistically, I think we can see that he can just push in at any moment. So when he does push back across, he's not really too concerned as the fours changing mode here, coming through to be able to snipe down those overseers and, well, even a liberator sieging up or two, just being able to get some shots off on this army as well. Maru sieges again and just continues pressing forwards. Impact is long distance line, that doesn't bode well for him here. There's Vipers, Hydras trying to press in. A couple of abducts coming through. One of the fours going down already. Siege tank as well. Liberator sieging up also. Just taking some more damage here. Hellbats continue to gather up as well. Another 4-2 coming in over from the right-hand side. Another abduct on the siege tank. Now just going to be seeing Vikings able to pick their way through more of these overseers. One more damage being done. Tanks and sieging again, going to continue pushing up this ramp. Abduct on a 4. More fours getting abducted actually, so all of these being brought in at the moment. And Impact gets taken down, so it lifts one up. It's a good couple of trades out of Impact, but the reality of the story is there's too many siege tanks, there's too much firepower. Maru wins 3 of the games needed today out of the 4 to take Jin Air Green Wings through to a victory. Congratulations, Maru and Jin Air.